Right now on News 4 at 6, dozens displaced by an overnight fire in the Queen City. What we're learning from fire investigators and where those affected will stay tonight.
And we're bracing for another very chilly night across western New York. Not only is that cold sticking around, we actually have more snow on the way for next week, coming up in your 4 and forecast.
And facing a judge, the mother of a 4-year-old at the center of an Amber Alert made a plea this morning. What she said in court and what caused the judge to double her bail. First tonight, though, we begin with breaking news. The U.S. Attorney for New York's Southern District is out. Just before 3 this afternoon, Preet Bharara announced his firing via Twitter. The high-profile New York City attorney joins more than 40 other U.S. attorneys asked to step down by the DOJ under the Trump administration. You may recall Bharara was investigating top Cuomo aides amid a corruption probe into the Buffalo Billion. When Bharara was reportedly asked to resign, he wouldn't. Here's the tweet he sent out this afternoon. He says, in quote, "I did not resign. Moments ago, I was fired. Being the U.S. attorney in SDNY will forever be the greatest honor of my professional life." Now, we're still working to get a response from the DOJ and the White House on this. We'll have much more coming up tonight. We are also keeping a close eye on the number of outages that remain across western New York tonight. Here's a look at the current numbers from both NYSEG and National Grid. You see, there's still around 7,000 people in the dark. Now, I spoke to the town of Colden's supervisor this evening. He says there's around 500 people still in the dark in that area, and he's encouraging people to check on their neighbors tonight. If you need a shelter, he says the fire department will provide one. Now let's check in with Andrew. Now, we feel like this chill is really sticking around for a little bit too long. Here's a live look outside from our tower cam. Those snow flurries are also coming down. Andrew, I'm cold just looking at that. And with the power outages, this cold obviously is an even bigger issue. When are we going to get some relief from this?
Not soon enough at all. This cold is sticking around another night, another couple of nights. And really, we might not actually get above freezing until late next week, looking at Friday, honestly. So we're really in the middle of winter conditions, even though spring is about to start in just over a week. Temperatures outside right now, 18 in Buffalo, 20 at the Falls, some lower teens across the southern tier. But the breeze out there out of the west-northwest, 15 to 20 miles an hour across the Niagara frontier. That's what's really brutal, bringing those wind chills down in the single digits, and we'll actually be dealing with sub-zero wind chills again for tonight. So a brutally cold Saturday night if you have any outdoor plans, and of course for those without power, gotta get somewhere warm to stay, and this chill sticking around through your Sunday as well. Radar showing some very scattered activities, snow showers moving through much of western New York. It's very spotty in nature. Passing snow showers is all we're looking for, not really enough to accumulate much additional, but through the southern hills, couple of inches through tonight going to be possible. The hour-by-hour forecast showing those scattered lake effect bands tonight continuing. So again, maybe an additional coating on the ground, if not an inch or two by the time we wake up tomorrow morning. Models still indicating this activity does wind down with some sunshine back, and that'll do some melting on the ground before a few more snow showers tomorrow evening. I'm not looking for anything too substantial over the next 24 hours, but that is going to change. Lake snow in spots with a couple of inches possible, especially through the hills. Sub-zero wind chills for tonight. Bundle up. That cold start to tomorrow morning not really going to calm down much either. Temperatures only upper teens and low 20s with just a few snow showers, otherwise clouds and sunshine. Winter storm watches have been issued for all of western New York. These start 8 o'clock Monday evening. Big winter storm on the way. We've been talking about this for over a week now. Coming up in my full 4 and forecast, we'll time this out for you, let you know how much snow we can expect here in western New York.
Thanks, Andrew. We'll check back. Now, there is a code blue in effect tonight. If you see someone who might be homeless, you can call 211 until 11 o'clock this evening. A van will pick them up and take them to a shelter. The Matt Urban Hope Center, St. Luke's Mission of Mercy, and Harbor House will be open from 8 o'clock tonight until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And due to these power outages, there are also additional warming shelters around western New York. We've got an updated list of those on our website, WIVB.com. Our neighbors in Rochester also face severe winds that left thousands in the dark. Governor Andrew Cuomo has launched an immediate investigation into the Rochester Gas and Electric's handling of that storm. More than 100,000 RG&E customers lost their power, and 3 days after the storm, more than 50,000 are still without it. The governor says the company dropped the ball.
I am not pleased with the job that RG&E has done. As a matter of fact, I am displeased with the job that RG&E has done. We had very high winds, yes, but you know what happens is poles snap, wires come down. You have to be ready to handle that. You know why? Because consumers pay good money to the utility companies, and they have a right to expect when you turn on that switch, the lights are going to come on.
Governor Cuomo has directed more than 1,000 additional workers for RG&E to help restore power and fast. He's also directed members of the National Guard to help with cleanup efforts. 90 people on the city's west side are without a home tonight. Buffalo firefighters battled a 3-alarm fire overnight at a multi-unit apartment building. The fire started just after 1 this morning on Lafayette Avenue. That's where News 4's Rachel Monjovi joins us from. She has the latest on the investigation tonight. Rachel, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Jen, this is what's left of the 3-alarm apartment fire. We're told there were 36 apartment units inside. You can see the roof is completely gone. We're told it caused more than $1.5 million worth of damage. Now, about 60 firefighters battled this huge fire overnight. Officials tell us there were a couple of issues crews had to deal with. There were difficulties getting water through to extinguish the fire, and there were issues trying to safely raise firefighters on ladders past utility lines. Officials say the cold temperatures posed a problem for crews. Buffalo Fire Dispatch says no one was injured, but 90 residents were displaced overnight. The American Red Cross opened a shelter for those residents at St. John's Episcopal Church at 6 this morning.
A lot of the people that came in this morning, they didn't know where to go, and they were seeking assistance. So I'm kind of proud to be, part of the organization that's supporting them and gives them a place to go when they felt they didn't even know what to do or where to go. So that's what we're here for, to support them and their needs.
The shelter provides cots, warm food, and drinks and emotional care. Volunteers told us people have been in and out of the shelter all day long. We're told a number of students that attend the West Buffalo Charter School were affected by this family. At least 3 families were involved in the fire. We'll have details on how you can help those residents in the next half hour. For now, reporting live on the west side, Rachel Monjovi, News 4 at 6.
Thank you, Rachel. We will continue to follow this developing story, so be sure to check in with us on social media. You can follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at News 4 Buffalo. The mother accused of taking her child from a bus stop this week, prompting an Amber Alert, faced a judge today. Mykesha Lawson's 4-year-old daughter was found safe Friday morning. Lawson was arraigned today on a long list of charges, including endangering the welfare of a child and resisting arrest. News 4's Katie Alexander was in court this morning where emotions ran high.
Bail was initially set at $50,000 for Mykesha Lawson in a Buffalo City courtroom here this morning, but after a bit of an outburst, that bail was doubled.
Ma'am, I'm issuing a no contact order of protection in favor of the minor child. You may not call, write, email, text, visit.
It's hard to make out exactly what Lawson said in this audio recording inside the courtroom. Our crews were only allowed to record the sound, not the video. But her emotions at that moment were clear as she turned her back on the judge and started trying to walk away while swearing. That's when Judge Betty Calvo-Torres upped the stakes and set bail at $100,000.
My client was upset. She's upset. She's upset about the whole situation, and understandably so. Her kid is being ripped away from her.
Police say Lawson was in family court Thursday when she learned she was going to lose custody of her 4-year-old daughter. We're told she left court and hid near her daughter's bus stop, taking her as she arrived back from school and taking off. Both were found safe around 10 o'clock the next morning. Lawson's attorney says the case has been blown out of proportion from the start.
An Amber Alert should be issued when a child is in danger. The only danger this particular child was in was eating too many French fries at McDonald's. This is a mother fighting for her kid. If she made a mistake or two along the way doing it, it goes to the love that she has for her child.
Since being in custody, it's my understanding that the defendant has stated that she will do the same thing again if released, has fought with officers at the time of arrest and while being in custody.
Lawson is now charged with custodial interference, unlawful imprisonment, criminal contempt, endangering the welfare of a child, resisting arrest, and obstruction of governmental administration, all misdemeanors. She pleaded not guilty to all charges today. Her daughter is in the care of her cousin now, and the court-issued order of protection for the little girl stands.
Lawson is due back in city court on March 16th. Reporting in Buffalo, Katie Alexander, News 4.
Across the nation tonight, Secret Service takes down an unwelcome visitor at the White House. The man, who has not been identified, was spotted climbing a fence on the east side of the property just before midnight Friday, while the president was inside the White House. The man was arrested and taken into custody. The Secret Service did not find any hazardous materials on him and found nothing of concern after a further search of the grounds. This is the first known security breach at the executive mansion since President Trump took office. He applauded the Secret Service for, quote, a fantastic job apprehending the man. Overhauling the healthcare system continues to be at the top of the list for Washington's Republicans. How they'll get it done, though, is still up in the air. Vice President Mike Pence is urging the GOP to get behind the Trump administration on plans to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act. Jerry Roth joins us from Kentucky with more.